This is Laura Anderson with the Club of Kendall County, and you're listening to The Ascent with Crestmont Private Wealth.
The opinions expressed are those of the host. The material is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute investment advice, and it is not intended as an endorsement for any specific investment. Visit CrestmontPW.com for more details.
Welcome to The Ascent. This is Sam McGee with Crestmont Private Wealth, and we have offices in Houston, Texas, and Boerne, Texas, at One River Way in Houston on the west side, and 604 South Main in Boerne. We've got the very overwatered grass. Sorry, City of Boerne, but we love our grass. We love our pollinator garden, and we'd love for you to stop by sometime. Come see us. If you're a wealthy individual, wealthy family, or high earning, what we do is we take care of you. Today, I've got a very special guest. I've got Laura Anderson with us. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you.
So, Laura does many things, and many things very well. She's an avid pickleball player. I do know that. I'm probably not going to play you because I couldn't get out of my car the last time I played pickleball. Give a little bit about your background, and those of you that may not know you outside of Kendall County or have not met you in Kendall County, what you're doing now and what you did for your career.
Well, for my career, I spent 35 years as a law enforcement officer. I started with the small Bryan Police Department. I worked a couple of years for the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, and then I spent 30 years with the San Antonio Police Department. While I was there, I met my husband, Chris. He also spent 30 years with the San Antonio Police Department. And one of the things that we are very passionate about is how many friends we lost along the way due to our occupation. And that would lead us to why we are involved in the Club of Kendall County.
I think the general public doesn't understand the amount of risk and sacrifice that goes into a law enforcement career, but same for first responders, the mental health side of it, as well as the physical dangers. It takes a toll on a family as well, just the amount of, shift work that's there and being on call at various times. And so maybe share a little bit about you being passionate about your career and how that translates into the 100 Club of Kendall County and what you do there.
Well, one of the things, almost everybody's heard that saying about the 22 a day for our fallen veterans.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't realize is that we actually lose more first responders to suicide than we do to bad guys or fires. Chris and I both have lost friends to substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and to suicide. The goal of, and how I got involved with the Club at Kendall County was through my career at the San Antonio Police Department. We saw what the Club of San Antonio did for our officers when they were in need. And so once we retired, or I retired, we came here. We've been living here. This is our community now. And some of the smaller communities don't have the benefits of the larger communities. So this is what I do to help continue helping my community in retirement.
I want you to share a little bit more about what the 100 Club of Kendall County does. But before we do that, if you're listening to this on Boerne Radio right now, and it's Saturday, it's probably about, 8:34, something like that. Yeah, probably. Although we're recording this on September 11th, which we'll talk about in a minute. If you're listening to this right now in front of Black Rifle, we have what going on, Laura?
The 5th annual Tug the Truck, the Fire Truck, and Police Car Push. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You sign up teams and you tug a fire truck full of water or push a police car. And it's a timed event. You go from point A to point B and see who can do it the fastest.
Yeah, this is a really, really cool event. And so Crestmont Private Wealth actually is one of the sponsors. There's numerous sponsors of this really patriotic event. And, when I moved to Boerne in 2021, I stumbled across this. I had just joined Boerne Fire as a volunteer, and I think I was in my probationary period. That was the second year you guys did it, right? It's grown a lot, and it's become this kind of patriotic feeling day. And I know it has a purpose to raise money for the 100 Club of Kendall County. Maybe go into a little bit about why somebody right now should come out and spectate and view this. What do we have going on today?
Well, we start off the morning with an opening ceremony where we do the national anthem. We do a moment of silence for the fallen of 9/11, and then we ring the fire memorial bell to commemorate the 7 fallen first responders of Kendall County. Then we have a ceremonial tug of war between our local law enforcement and our local firefighters. That gets a little contentious.
Oh, yeah.
The law enforcement officers tend to be a little larger than our firefighters.
Yeah, I'm going to get crushed for saying this, but yeah, we did win one year, but we actually added 2 men to the I
You
know.
cheated.
We cheated, basically. Yeah, we cheated. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a source of pride. You know, the department goes back with a plaque. Actually, Crestmont sponsors some really neat Yeti commemorative awards for the winners. And so, you know, stick around for the awards ceremony. And there's a kid activity out here too, right? We have the kid tug of war as well.
Yes.
We're doing it.
We
Okay,
also have a bounce house. Jumpin' Bernie is sponsored the bounce house.
Very nice.
Operation Taco, which is a new nonprofit that started up feeding first responders during the July 4th flood relief. They're going to come out and they're going to feed the participants. So there's a lot to do. There'll be some vendor tables, and it's just a fun activity. It's across the street from Bernie Market Days, so you can go from one to the other. But our event is just super fun. It's a way to get to see your local first responders, local teams. The YMCA always brings a team. Some of the gyms, it's a corporate team building exercises. The Charger cheerleaders have a team.
Offensive line had a team a couple years ago from Comfort too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were beasts. So if you're listening to this right now and you're driving down Main Street and you see this big, huge community event thing going on in Bernie outside of Black Rifle, stop in, go see Patty and Black Rifle, get yourself a coffee, and then watch some of the Tug the Truck, and come meet Laura and her wonderful husband, Chris, very involved with the 100 Club of Kendall County. And let's pivot a little bit because, you know, right now as we record this, we're recording it on 9/11. And 9/11 is obviously a very solemn time, but also a time for a lot of bonding with first responders. And, you know, just today, myself and Johnny Neese from Bernie Fire and amongst many other first responders in Kendall County did a climb to commemorate and show respect to the fallen officers, first responders, and even a canine in 9/11. And so it is a solemn day, but it's also kind of a day of celebration of freedom and being very patriotic. And so let's talk about the purpose. You know, we talk about the intersection of passion and purpose. And Laura, this is something I know you and Chris are very passionate about, and it is definitely a purpose for you. Talk about some of maybe a few stories, not the confidential piece, but some stories of how the 100 Club of Kendall County have helped families.
Well, there's a lot of smaller things, and then there's some bigger things. One of the things that we really want to be a support system for the first responders and mental health especially. A lot of first responders are used to being the hero. They're the Superman. They're rushing in while everybody's rushing out, and they don't want to admit that they need help, but they do. And so we're trying to educate, support. We have PTSD training, peer support, and to tell them it's okay to need help, and we're here to help you when you do admit it. One of our local firefighters recently was having a hard time, and he was throwing up roadblocks about getting help. And one of his coworkers reached out, and within an hour, we had the funds approved and paid for him to all his out-of-pocket expenses to go to a rehab facility.
It's amazing.
There was no more roadblocks, and I'm very happy to say that he is in recovery.
That's incredible.
But we have done things like we had a brand new Bernie police officer who got very sick. He didn't have any benefits yet. He was new to the department, so we were able to help pay his salary so he could heal up and then come back to the department. We also give training grants to first responders that want to continue their education. We just gave a scholarship to a young man so he could actually go to the fire academy and become a Bernie firefighter. So
yeah, and those aren't cheap. The amount of expense that goes into traveling maybe over to Teeks and College Station or going to the academy in San Antonio or Houston or Austin. I mean, that's a pretty hefty per diem. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for leading the way you do to make sure that we get more first responders in the community. I think that maybe there's a bit of a disconnect amongst maybe listeners and understanding that there's a lot of physical risk. We know about that, cancer, heart attack, fire, obviously, if you're a Leo, obviously, criminal activity, gunfire, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the mental health piece, do you see that being something that is going to continue to be a huge need?
Oh, I definitely. We just recently paid for some group counseling for the Bernie fire rescue teams that went to July 4th and helped out up there. They wanted to do it as in their teams, but we also had a person reach out. He was having PTSD of something that had happened over 5 years ago, and he finally just admitted that he needed some help. And so we were able to assist with that. I anticipate this problem is going to grow worse as time goes by. I think there will be more fallout from the flooding and the rescue attempts. But mental health among first responders it's delicate. Like I said, they don't want to admit they need help, but we need to make sure that they get the help that they need.
Absolutely. Well, it's amazing that you guys, spend the time, the energy to put the focus on first responders to help them. Maybe share a little bit about the other events you guys do throughout the year and, what that looks like. Because Tug the Truck's one, but then obviously you've got another spring event, and maybe share with our listeners.
In the spring, we have the Boots for the Badges Bash. It's a live music event. We have a live and silent auction. Yeah, it's just a fun event. It's casual. It's not your average rubber chicken.
Nice.
But the good thing about our organization is we're all volunteers, and all of the money that we raise goes to our mission. It stays here. It's just to help local first responders. We don't go to San Antonio or Austin. The money is used here for our first responders. And I think that's important to know. We don't even have an office. We use the Bernie Police Department for our mail because we're trying to keep overhead just as low as possible and spend whatever money we do raise on our first responders locally.
That's very important. I think that's something that a lot of philanthropists and donors look at when they make donations, is making sure that it's efficient and well run. I don't know if it could get more efficient than that. So, yeah, congrats to you guys. Tip of the hat to you and Chris and all the other volunteers. What is something that, if it was on your wish list out there, somebody who's listening in the community who doesn't know how to get involved or wants to get involved, whether it's time, treasure, talent, how would they reach you, and what would be on kind of your wish list right now?
Well, we have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, we have a website. The easiest way is to email me. I'm currently the president of the organization, and I'm always available. Our wish list mostly is we try to maintain a certain balance of funds because we never know when the need is going to arise.
That's right.
It's not like, we can plan for somebody to get cancer or somebody to need a ramp to get into their own house after they were injured in a car accident. I mean, we can't plan for those things. So our main issue is having cash reserves.
No, makes sense. Well, Yeah, this is a incredibly patriotic week. We're recording here with Laura Anderson from the 100 Club of Kendall County on September 11th, but it's airing on Saturday the 13th when the Tug the Truck is going on in Bernie. So if you happen to be in the area and you would love to come out and spectate, bring your family. Come out, see what it's all about. It's exciting. Part of Crestmont's mission is, I say this all the time to our team, to our clients. We care about our clients, we care about our community, and we care about our team. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering why we oscillate between financial literacy and community outreach, it's because it's important. It's important to have a balance. And this is something that's been really on my heart for a long time, being in the fire service off and on over the past 3 decades as a volunteer. And it just doesn't get any more patriotic than giving to your first responders. So thank you for being on the show today, Laura. Listeners, come on out and visit. And if you'd like to follow up with her, your email address, please.
President.100, number 100, club, kc@gmail.com.
Excellent. Have a great weekend and God bless.